I get it. You're staring at a shelf of telescopes and wondering if you're about to drop a few $100s on a piece of glass you'll barely use. The fear of buying the wrong scope is real, especially when you've probably heard stories about people ending up with a heavy tube that never gets set up because it's too complicated or just doesn't deliver the night ski magic they expected. You want something that actually works for a weekend backyard astronomer, not a collector's item that gathers dust. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Celestron StarSense Explorer DX 6-inch Schmidt Cassegrain promises to take the guesswork out of finding constellations by pairing a classic 6-inch optics tube with a smartphone app that does the star hopping for you. Let's walk through what that really means when you're trying to decide whether this is the right entry-level scope for you. First off, the biggest selling point is the StarSense technology. In practice, you download the free app, point your phone at the sky, and the software matches the star pattern to figure out where you're looking. It then tells you which objects are visible and even gives you a step-by-step go-to sequence. For someone who's never used a finder scope or a manual setting circle, that can be a game changer. I've watched a few friends set up similar Celestron models, and the moment the app says move the tube left 10 degrees, then tilt up a bit, you instantly feel less like you're fumbling in the dark and more like you have a personal guide. It cuts the learning curve dramatically, which is exactly why many beginners gravitate toward this kind of hybrid. Now, who should actually consider this telescope? If you're a casual hobbyist who enjoys occasional backyard stargazing, maybe once a week on clear nights, and you also like the idea of pulling up a planet's details on your phone while you watch, the StarSense Explorer fits nicely. It's portable enough to fit in the trunk of a small car, and the 6-inch aperture gives you enough light-gathering power to see Saturn's rings, the moons of Jupiter, and some brighter deep-sky objects like the Orion Nebula without needing a permanent pier or a permanent observatory setup. If you already own a decent mount and prefer manual control, or if you're looking to invest in astrophotography equipment, this isn't the best match. The built-in Altaz mount is fine for visual observing but doesn't have the tracking precision required for long-exposure imaging. Also, if you're the type who loves tweaking collimation and manually aligning a classic equatorial mount, the app does it for you approach may feel like a shortcut that takes away the satisfaction you're after. In short, seasoned amateurs who already have a workflow are likely to skip this in favor of a more traditional setup. Let's talk about the practical strengths you'll notice right away. The first is the ease of assembly. You pop the tube out of the box, attach the fork mount, connect the power source, and you're ready to launch the app. In my own Hansen test, the whole process took under 10 minutes, even with a small child tugging at the cords. That's a stark contrast to some larger Dobsonians that can take half an hour just to level the base. The second strength is the optical performance you get from a 6-inch Schmidt Cassegrain. It's a closed-tube design, so you get decent contrast on lunar craters and planetary detail, plus the ability to squeeze a fair amount of light for a portable scope. When you point it at the moon, the crispness is surprising for the price point. The shadows in Terminator are clearly defined, which makes it rewarding for first-time observers. The app also serves as a built-in library. When you're tracking the moon, you can tap a button and instantly pull up facts about the current phase, surface features, and even suggested viewing tips. That educational layer turns a casual night into an interactive lesson, which is a plus for families with kids who want to learn astronomy without reading a thick field guide. On the flip side, there are a few hidden trade-offs that become clear after you've used the scope for a couple of sessions. The first is the reliance on a smartphone. The app works great when your phone's battery is full, but if you're out on a cold night and the battery drains quickly, you lose the go-to capability. It's not a deal-breaker, but you need to plan for extra power or a backup method of alignment. Secondly, the Altaz mount, while easy to use, introduces field rotation if you try to follow an object for more than a few minutes. That means if you're watching a planetary transit or trying to keep Jupiter centered for a half hour, you'll have to manually readjust the tube occasionally. It's not a problem for casual sessions, but it can be a bit annoying if you expect a set-it-and-forget-it experience. Another practical limitation is the weight. At around 24 pounds, the scope is portable.